What is up, guys? My name is Grenisect, and welcome back to another Pokemon Challenge video. But before we get started with today's video, I would like to mention that the Fire Red Hardcore Nuzlocke using only flying type Pokemon got an insane amount of views from my perspective. Thank you guys so much. And it got me a whole lot of new people, so if you're new to the channel, leave a like and subscribe. Because this video, I hope it also does as good, if not even better. Because, I mean, it's Black 2, right? Everyone loves Gen 5. Or some more than others. But we're going to be talking about today's challenge. We're going to be answering the question, can I complete a Pokemon Black 2 Hardcore Nuzlocke using only Steel-type Pokemon? So, what identifies as a Hardcore Nuzlocke? The rules are simple. We can only catch one Pokemon per route. In this case, it can only be Steel types. But I have a Dupe's Clause applied, meaning I cannot catch multiple Pokemon that share the same evolution line or are the same Mon. I have nicknamed every Mon in order to grow attachment to it. Yes, this also includes HM slaves. If it dies, I have to box it, or I can release it, preferably box. So what are the harder versions? The harder rules being we cannot use any items in battle. However, held items are okay. So items like the Silk Scarf we can attach, but items that we can't use in battle are potions. However, we can use them outside of battle. I mean, of course, it's also a good rule of thumb. We have to play on set mode, meaning we cannot shift between our opponent's Pokemon. Which is actually not a bad rule, if you think about it. And last but not least, there are level caps, meaning we cannot go above the gym leader or Elite Four's levels. For example, if we're up against Sharon, we cannot go past his level. So in this case, it'd be level 13 because that's his Slowpup's level. Also, we're going to be playing on normal mode just to give it a shot because it's been a while since I played Black 2. I go ahead and boot up my game and I decide to pick the starter Snivy. Why Snivy, you ask? It's not a Steel type. Well, the reason why I picked Snivy is so our rival, Chaotic, which I totally don't know. What's a Chaotic Meatball? I don't know. We'll pick Tepig, which will become a bigger challenge for our Steel types to overcome. And I feel like it's a very good choice. So we go ahead and fight Chaotic, our rival, and afterwards we can go ahead and fight some more trainers. But there are only two. Unfortunately, we don't get any Pokemon until Velocity Ranch, but we do get a Riolu at level 5, and I decided to name him Blue. Yeah, I really don't have a theme here. I'll probably have to come up with something better the next time I upload another Hardcore Nuzlocke video. Which, leave your comments down below to see which one you would like to see. Even if it's already been made, I will see if I can do it better. Because that's the goal here, because we don't fail challenge runs. After catching Riolu, I decide to run up and down and change my clock to daytime, since he evolves through friendship during the daytime. After that, we take on Alder's pupils, and as soon as we beat both of them, our Riolu evolved into a Lucario. Not only is this a smart play against Sharon, but this also means that our Blue is valid for this run. We then go up against Sharon. He leads off with a Patrat at level 11, and I go ahead and let off with Blue the Lucario, since this is the only Mon we have, and it's not going to really take much. Counter doesn't really do anything, but Quick Attack makes some easy work, since it does have a lonely nature, which boosts attack, but lowers defense. So, not really the best. We were able to beat him, and we make our way to the Burgh complex, where here we can catch a Magnemite, and I decide to name him Magnet. Magnemite is going to be a valuable team member, especially when it gets to Magnezone, but even on its own, it can do pretty well. Up next, we have to fight off against Roxy, probably the hardest gym I'll ever face. Whew! With the level cap being level 18, she leads off with Coughing, and I decide to lead off with Lucario. Really not much we can do. We do have Force Palm, which is valuable stab, and can and will paralyze, which it did in this case, and I decided to keep going for Force Bombs, since literally Roxy can't touch us. This is probably one of the easiest gyms in the whole game. Well, other than Sharon, and maybe Burgh when we get to it. we go ahead and took down her coughing, and she leads off with her Whirlipede. I went ahead and go for a Force Palm, and then for the rest of the time, I went for quick attacks. To try to chip away the damage, even if it wasn't enough, but we were able to take it out. Up next, we go ahead and take on Team Plasma, which they were kind of butthurt since everyone was using Pokemon, but they don't like it how we're using Pokemon. So we kind of had to beat them to prove them wrong, but hey, you're right to your own opinion. After that, we go to the Castelia Sewers and go to Relic Passage in order to take on Team Plasma again, and afterwards get a Drillbur. We can't use this yet, but it will evolve into an Excadrill, which is another valuable team member. Excadrill is extremely strong. I see a lot of speedrunners use it. He is a very good MVP. Up next, we have Burgh, with the level cap being level 24. He leads off with a Swadloon, and I go for Magnemite. I hit it with a Paralysis, and then I go for Spark. It does try to decrease my speed, but it literally can't touch us. The moves it has that are really dangerous to us, that even poses a little threat, is Razor Leaf, and that's only based on its critical hit rate. Luckily we didn't get hit by it, which I don't know why it didn't, but whatevs. He then sends out Dwebble, and I take it out with a couple of Sonic Booms. Up next was Leavanny, and I decide to go for another Paralysis. It puts me on below half HP, and I decide to do a switch in with Lucario. With it paralyzed, it really shouldn't do much to us. It does go for a String Shot, and I was able to go for a Quick Attack. And for the rest of the time, I decide to go for Quick Attack, but misclicked on counter for some reason. Don't know why, don't ask. This footage was made a long time ago before I decided to voice over. But nonetheless, we were able to take it out with a couple quick attacks, winning us the fight. After that, we meet up with Colress on Route 4, and we go ahead and fight it. He leads off with a Magnemite, this is actually probably one of the easiest fights I've done in this whole run. He does have Sturdy, which I completely forgot about. So I went with a quick attack to break the Sturdy, and then go for Force Bomb. He then sends out his Clink, which was an easy Force Bomb. After that, we did some grinding to evolve Magnemite into Magneton. Not only does he have 2 magnets now, he now has 5? I can't count. It's now time for Elesa. She leads off with an Emolga at level 28, with the level cap being 30. I lead off with Lucario. I got a little cocky here and decided not to edge my levels. No, not the Boy Scout teaching method. I'm talking about edging your levels, which basically means you're about to go over the level cap, but not quite. You're just about like 100 XP away, or just a little bit of XP away. I did get the Dig TM and Soft Sand earlier, which did some easy work on her Substrika. She then sends out her Flaffy, and I decided to go for another Dig. He tries to go for a Thunder Wave, we dodged it, go to attack it, and surprisingly enough, it did not hit us with its static. Pretty good stuff there. She then sends out her Emolga, I go for a return, she hits her Emolga with a Hyper Potion, we go for another return, and was able to knock her out. Now, after that match, I decided to go to Chargestone Cave in order to get a Clank. I was expecting to get a Ferroseed, since there's 3 potential encounters you can get here: Clink, Ferroseed, and Nosepass. Nosepass can evolve into Probopass, which is a Rock and Steel type, and Clink evolves to just the pure Steel types. After catching it, I decided to name him Gyro, and our Magneton evolves into Magnezone, and our Drillbur into Excadrill. One thing that I didn't do, which I'll probably need to do next time, is to try to look on CerebiNet to see what levels are good to evolve, because apparently Drillbur learns Earthquake at level 33. I did a little bit of grinding, but unfortunately I got a little bit out of hand and Clink died. Great. Oh, this is perfect. I guess we're just gonna run with Clay with only 3 Pokemon. Before finding Clay though, I decided to get an Ice Gem and a Red Shard. A couple Red Shards so Lucario can learn Ice Punch. and along the way I decided to catch a Marlon named Surf to be our Surf HM slave. Now, it's time for Clay. We're all ready to go. Nothing can go wrong here. He leads off with Croc Rock, which led off with the Intimidate, and then I go for a critical Force Palm, which knocks it out. He then sends out his Sand Slash, and I thought now would be the great time to use Ice Punch, boosted Ice Gem. It puts it on half HP, and we died to a crit. Great. It's now time for me to the Excadrill to do its work. By going for a dig, we did have soft sand on it luckily, and we were able to knock out the Sand Slash. Last but not least was this Excadrill at level 33. We did have the level advantage, and we barely managed to take it out. Just barely. We one-shot it. Pretty good stuff there, but at the loss of Blue Lucario. Big rip. Well, it's an ambush by Team Plasma. Well, great. I did go to Miss Charlton Cave to catch Aron and decided to name him Steok. Did a little bit of grinding here and there to evolve him into Lyron. Well, while this battle was going on, I should also mention that you should follow me on Twitch. I want to try to make these runs a little bit more legitimate instead of just saying what happens, because I mean it's kind of feels safe to do that without being canceled, because there are some non-believers out there. It's most likely the dislikes, or just if you want to get to know me better. I'm also affiliate over there, so if you want to try to use those channel points in order to redeem a face reveal, it is on the table. So, link will be in the description below. I also have a Discord channel if you want to follow that as well. I do talk in there quite a lot. Just a thought. But anyways, for Skyla, there's really nothing much that she can do to us. I was originally just going to use Steok and Magnets, the Magnezone, but I don't think it's really going to be needed. Magnezone can learn Charge Beam, but I thought Discharge will probably be a better move for it. Don't you think? Yes? No? Maybe? I don't know. The Skyla fight was actually pretty simple. Pretty easy to be exact. But I still play carefully. Always play carefully. She leads off with a Swoobat who does outspeed and tries to go for a Heart Stamp, which does flinch the Magnezone. And then try to go for another Thunder Wave, and we didn't flinch. And then it gets fully paralyzed. We then go for a Metal Sound, and it goes for a Heart Stamp and did critical damage. This puts us above half HP, but only a little bit. We were able to take out the Swoobat, and she goes for Swanna. At this point, I decide to go for yet another Thunder Wave, just to play it safe. And she hits us with a Bubble Beam, which did quite a lot of damage. I tried to test my luck, and I decided to knock it out with an Electro Ball. Last but not least was her Skarmory. Fortunately enough, it only knows Aerial Ace and Steel Wing. We paralyze it with Thunder Wave, and then we go for a Flash Cannon. It gets fully paralyzed, and then we go for one last Electro Ball, knocking it out. I used Flash Cannon first just to break the sturdy, which worked. And then I decided to go close to Reversal Mountain in order to catch my own Skarmory, and decide to name him Metal KFC. I honestly don't know what this thing is. Is it chicken, or is it a sparrow? A chicken or sparrow? I don't know. I can see it being neutral either way. But anyways, I decided to name him Metal KFC, and then we did some more grinding. And then sooner or later, we were able to evolve our Steok the Lairon into a powerful Aggron, one of my favorite Gen 3 Steel types. We then make our way through Reversal Mountain with Bianca, and it's time to face off against Hugh. The strategy here is to lead off with Excadrill, since it has Rock Slide, and we can go for Hone Claws, which boosts accuracy and attack. I prefer boosting both stats instead of just one with Swords Dance. After using a couple Hone Claws setting up against it, and then it uses Detect, and then it goes for an Air Slash, and we were able to take it out with a Rock Slide. Next up, he sends out Semipore. Now Semipore outspeeds us and goes for a Leer, but we're able to knock it out with an Earthquake, boosted by Soft Sand. Last but not least was Embor, and we go for another Earthquake, one-shotting it and winning us the fight. And, luckily enough, we did find a Cobalion. I know it's a Steel type, but hear me out. Actually, no. As tempting as it is, we're not going to catch it. It's just cheese on cheese if you use legendaries. However, we can catch a Ponard on Route 9, and decide to name him Pawnee. However, we can't use him yet, so it is what it is. Now, Drayden's a little bit complicated here. Drayden has a Flygon, and yes, Flygon does have Earth Power, which oh my god, a shiny! Take that, shiny hunters. I didn't catch it. Like I said, Flygon has Earth Power, which pretty much wrecks the majority of our team, except for Skarmory. But let's get into the fight to see what happens. He leads off with Druddigon and we go for a Thunder Wave, and then he goes for Revenge, and then I decide to go for a Metal Sound, and he goes for a Crunch. Not very effective damage, and then we go for a Flash Cannon, and we were able to knock it out. I also had the Lucky Egg on him, so pretty good stuff. He then sends out Flygon, which I decide to go with for Metal KFC. Flygon can't really touch Metal KFC a whole lot. Earth Power doesn't do anything, Dragon Tail won't do much damage, and Roxy will just do neutral damage. Unfortunately, this Skarmory has minus physical attack, so I thought that Air Slash will probably be a Q here, since it does flinch, and it puts it on a sliver of HP. Drayden then goes for a Hyper Potion, and we go for another Air Slash, and it does critical damage, knocking him out. Next up is his Haxorus. Now Haxorus does hit hard, despite it having a not very effective move. It will set up Dragon Dance, so I decided to go with our Steel Wall Aggron, but he then uses Dragon Tail. I then try to hope that he doesn't use Dragon Tail again, and go for Steelok yet again. He actually tries to set up a Dragon Dance. And from here, I decide to go for Iron Head, which did a lot of damage but restored with its Citrus Berry. He goes for another Dragon Dance and I go for another Iron Head. And then he goes for a Slash. Didn't do a whole lot of damage and we go for an Iron Head, knocking him out, winning us the fight. Alright, 7 badges down, 1 more to go. After Team Plasma puts the city on ice. No? Okay, let's just jump into this fight. Nothing really special happens in between other than that Team Plasma battle. So we're just going to go ahead and jump into the Marlon fight. The issue to look out for is the Scald. They do hit hard, and not very good for us. I lead off with Excadrill to go for a Metal Claw to break the Sturdy, and then go for an Earthquake. Scald did hit very hard and put me almost on a sliver of HP. He then sends out Wailord, and from here, it was a clean swift switch into the Magnuson. It then goes for Scald. Luckily it doesn't burn. I then go for a Discharge here, which puts it on a sliver of HP yet again, and raises its special defense, using Amnesia. Marlon then goes for a Hyper Potion, which doesn't restore it all the way, and thanks to, well, its special defense raise, I couldn't knock it out, but another Discharge knocks it out the next turn. Next up was Jellicent. Now Jellicent here isn't really too bad of a Pokemon to deal with. I go for another Discharge, and it restores with a Citrus Berry, and goes for a Scald. From here, it was an easy takeout with Discharge. After that, we did some grinding to evolve Pawnee the Ponard into Pawnee the Bisharp. Bisharp is a very valuable mon. Not only is it Dark types, but it's also Steel types. And Team Plasma is blasting off again. Great. We go to the Giant Chasm to catch a Metang. I decided to use my Master Ball here because Metang is very hard to fight, and I wasn't going to put up with it. I decided to name him Arms, based on the Nintendo Switch game. Yeah, that didn't have anything here. I mean, it has springy arms, I guess. We did some grinding before even fighting Team Plasma to get our Metagross. Now, I know a few of you commented last video that studios are kind of unfair that I used Dragonite, but Dragonite didn't really get a whole lot of spotlight. And from here, it's time to face off against Colress. Now, Colress is a little bit tricky here. He leads off with a Magneton, and I go for Mina the Excadrill. It does have Sturdy, so our best choice here is to go for Metal Claw. It then goes for Flash Cannon, which did hit hard, like harder than my Metal Claw did to it. We then go for an Earthquake to knock it out. Next up was Magnezone, who hits harder with Flash Cannon, but luckily we were able to outspeed it, like always. And then we go for an Earthquake, knocking it out. Mina can withstand a few more hits, but he does send out BEM. And from here, I decide to switch in Pawnee the Bisharp to see how well he's gonna do. It then goes for a Calm Mind, and I decide to go for Night Slash, which was able to knock it out in one shot. He then sends out his Klinklang, and since it does have an Air Balloon, I decide to go for another Night Slash to try and break that Air Balloon. That way, it's going to be a clean, swift sweep with Excadrill. And luckily, we were able to pull off a Earthquake, and we were able to knock it out. Easy peasy. His next Pokemon he sends out is Matang. And Matang was another easy sweep with Earthquake, and we were able to knock it out. Up next is the... Oh, I'm an idiot. I forgot to record the Getsus fight. But I will say that Excadrill did manage to sweep his entire team. And then I decided to go to the Abundant Shrine just to catch Bronzor. And that's pretty much it. Just in case one of our mons die. I decided to name him Coin. Just Coin. Actually, no. I think I'll name him, or name it, Iron Coin. I truly don't have a theme here. Oh well. It's time to take on Hugh on Victory Road. Alright, we're going to use the same strategy that we used in Undula Town, and it's going to be an easy sweep, right? Well, I sure hope so. We then go for a Hone Claws, and he pulled off a Swagger. And then I try to go for another Hone Claws, and it goes for Facade. I then get confused and hit myself in confusion. And then I need to switch in. And this is where stuff starts to go horribly wrong. It then goes for a Facade as soon as I send out my Magnezone. It hits me with a Swagger, but I was able to knock it out with a Discharge. He then sends out his Bouffalant, who I had no idea that it had Earthquake. Yeah. For someone that's been playing Pokemon Black 2 for a very long time, I had no idea that it had Earthquake. And this is where stuff started falling apart from here. I also forgot the fact that this thing had Wild Charge, and Fly didn't even do a number on it. It put it below half HP, but it still wasn't enough. And it still doesn't knock it out. And we lose Metal KFC. And the team from here just starts falling apart. Like, it's just terrible. I was so underprepared for this. I was so focused on not over-leveling for the Elite Four that I didn't prepare for Hugh. Which is what led to my downfall. And one by one, he swept my entire team. But to my Eagle guys watching, how are you going to have time to get to the Elite Four? Well, I'm going to be making a part 2. This part was only to serve as a general gameplay of it, while part 2 will have attempts 2 and above, just to see like the short clips of me taking on every gym leader, all my failures, and just trying to beat the Elite Four. Which, in hopes that we do, that video is probably going to be taking another 2 weeks. But that's basically on me. I was so underprepared for what his team was going to do, even if I've been playing Pokemon Black 2 this entire time. the whole time that was alive, actually. Well, darn. It's time to start from square one. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like and subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.